Hello, and welcome to Quick Sidebar. I am Bradley, here with
Jake
and Dan.
And this episode, our topic is theater. To introduce this topic, we are all theater majors here.
At Colorado State University.
That is right.
Go Rams.
And so the next question is, what is it like to be a theater major? Which is very broad, but I think we have some ideas.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
And we'll go ahead and start with Jake.
So the question is, what is it like to be a theater major?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, all right.
It's okay.
And that's it.
Thank you for listening.
Dan?
No, I mean, I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy it. I think that I like studying something I enjoy, and that I feel like I can practically participate in and work on as I'm studying. You know, like, you got to do a lot of work to be a doctor before you can be a doctor. You know, like, even just going to med school, it's a lot of intake before you can even try to start, doing surgeries. Or, I guess I should have said surgeon. But, as a performance major, your classes are doing that craft. It's immediately applicable. So I really appreciate that. But, I don't know. It's always hard thinking, like, okay, if I don't land big, if I don't make it happen, what am I gonna do with a theater degree?
Well, I think about that.
The good news is, like, a degree is a degree.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
You have a college degree, you immediately put yourself in some sort of running for a lot of entry-level jobs, regardless of where they... I mean, you're not going to get, like, an accounting job at a Big Four with just a theater degree, but you can, like... You can work yourself up towards something if that's what, if your pursuits or your desires change, and, I mean, from what I've heard, I can't speak off of experience, but...
Well, and I mean, I think that... Because I thought about that, I remember thinking when I joined theater in high school, I'll never be a theater major, and I'll never be a performance major.
I remember when I had family saying, like, Jacob, you gotta study theater. You gotta go to school for this. I'm like, I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, like, why would I waste my money?
Yeah, what if
like a theater degree?
No, this is fun. This is fun what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna study it in college.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pursue it.
I'm gonna be a chemical engineer.
Yeah, I'm gonna design cities.
That's what I told myself when I realized chemical engineering is hard.
I wanted to be a civil engineer. I was like, I'm going to plan cities and sewer systems. Like, civil engineering takes math.
But you know what?
Do that.
That's the thing, though. Is
can't do math.
Civil engineering is hard, but so many people underestimate, like, the difficulty to your mind and to your body that theater takes. It's taxing.
Yeah. It's hard.
Absolutely.
Because you look at, like, you think about theater academically, and you look at it. Yeah. It is not the most taxing. It's not the most difficult if you don't put the work into it. Like, if you're in a text analysis class and you're spark noting the plays because you can, and then you're not participating in discussions, I would
never do that.
Pshaw.
I would never cheat with spark notes or Wikipedia for anything.
Never.
Never in a million years.
But
especially not for an entire class.
Theater history 1 and 2.
But see, that's the thing is, it's easy if you don't put the work in, but it takes so much time.
Yeah.
It takes so much time, and ultimately, like, if you don't grind, like, if you don't actively work towards being better, like,
you fail.
You're gonna get the degree, fine, and then if you think you're just gonna go do acting, you're gonna go be an actor, you're fucked.
Well, I think, because I thought about that. I mean, I almost call it the mortality of being a theater major, and it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, when I tell people, when people, you meet someone. Yeah, of course I'm a little older, but when people in college age are like, "Oh, what do you study? Where do you go?" They're like, "Oh, I'm a chemical, whatever, bioscience."
Yeah, seriously,
science.
Everybody's doing science and math.
Smart stuff that
especially at CSU.
I avoid, and I'm just like, "Oh, you're gonna go to vet school?" My roommate Ariana is gonna be like a horse reproductive major and do like massage horses and shit. What is that called when you're like a chiropractor? A horse chiropractor. That's crazy.
Awesome.
And that's cool. And that takes, like, you gotta know it. I just go on stage and sing and dance for people.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
well,
sometimes it does feel a little like...
It's like,
Oh,
what am I...
all I do
And
is...
it's like, what am I... It's like, you look at people who are doctors, and they're adding to society. I'm entertaining folks.
But you know what, though? Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Entertainment, I feel like, is still like a very valuable part of society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's something.
Entertainment, yeah.
It's something that like, arguably, we as human beings need and crave because
I don't
like,
even think it's argue. I think we definitely need.
Yeah,
it to some
because,
degree,
like,
yeah,
I mean, boredom is a very real thing that like
boredom
actually
can drive people to do insane
exactly
shit.
can cause like some serious like mental issues, and so like I feel like entertainment is actually in a
Stimulation.
weird way.
When you boil it down to pure what needs,
Yeah,
stimulation
sure.
is what it is.
Sure, yeah, is actually like a
Stimulating
need.
you. Yeah.
And so to some degree, I mean, you're fulfilling that, but then like
Excuse
also
me.
like, you know, all
Sorry,
the other things
sorry.
that theater can do, where it's like communicating a message or
Well, I thought about that. I was going to say, I thought about this because, like, what could I take? Because I don't know that I want to do quote unquote theater.
Right, yeah.
Forever.
No,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
I don't know that that's for me. I mean,
Yeah,
I do
I
have
agree.
stage fright. That's a very real thing I deal with. And I think that also it's just like, I'm still of the mindset that theater as we know it now is not the future of entertainment. I know
Right.
we had that big discussion
Because
in class
it's
about
gonna
that.
dwindle down to nothing.
But personally, and that's a whole other discussion. What's the future of theater? And
I don't
want
want to have that discussion.
That's a whole.
we had that discussion.
Yeah, we went through that hell, but I honestly think that the future of theater is not as positive as we hope it is. Only because other forms of media are growing stronger and stronger every day,
and they're able to stimulate.
and they're able to stimulate you
much
in ways that even going to see a live show
not better.
doesn't.
I shouldn't say better. That's a wrong word.
It's just different.
It's faster. It's
faster,
faster.
more
it's,
immediate.
It's
Instant
bigger.
And-
gratification.
yeah, exactly.
It's cheaper,
Yeah.
which is a
Exactly.
big key.
Yeah.
It's
I
cheaper
mean,
here.
It's you can watch infinite things on Netflix for what $13 a month when going to a show. Les Mis, whatever's going to cost you $50 a person.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but my big thing about theater is it's just that I like acting enough, but I think I'd rather be the creator on top, whereas like writing, directing, propelling the story rather than just being a puppet of that person. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that acting can be like the icing on the cake in the creation of an idea.
Yeah,
you know, where
it's
like
the
if you
last
get to
little
see it
bit.
from beginning to end, like how great would it be to just be a part of it in that sense?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I agree. I think I've heard of people pursuing a life of performance, whether it be the performing arts, or singing, dancing, acting, as like more of a selfish occupation.
Yeah.
You know, that it's not necessarily serving others
Yeah.
as opposed to
Serving
being
yourself.
a surgeon and all that stuff. But I agree. I think that I went to see a show in London when I was there. I went to see Comedy About a Bank Robbery. Great show. Go see it. It's incredible.
Not a sponsor.
You said
Yeah,
London?
no. London did not sponsor this podcast.
London as a whole, as a city.
The whole UK.
Just, I know you were
Not
confused
Ireland, though,
about
because
that.
Ireland's not part of the UK. I just want to make that very clear. And you get it. You get it. If you don't, then you don't. But Ireland is its own country. It's not in the UK. Scotland is. Ireland is not.
But I went to see that show after being in a real shitty attitude. I was in a bad headspace, I was in my head thinking about stuff. I was not feeling great, and I went to see that show and forgot about everything. And I didn't just suppress it, but it gave me time to just like
It distracts
get out of
you.
my head.
Yeah,
exactly,
It lets
yeah.
you
It
forget
distracted
about.
me and inspired me, and it's silly. It was a great example of silly theater. Very well done. I mean, it was
it's
slapstick.
London's
It was
theater.
top of the art slapstick.
Yeah.
But
Well-
that's where I think it's important. That's
Well-
what, even if you're doing some Urinetown. Urinetown's a great example
Well,
of it.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember when my mom came to see it, and she was overthinking things about it. And I was like, Mom, stop. Just watch You're in Town, and just accept it for what's happening in front of you, and you look no more into it than what is presented, and you'll be fine. Because some shows people dig too deep. They're looking for hidden meanings, but whatever. This is like, what is this really saying? But the thing about entertainment I want to touch on is, like, you look back at the Great Depression. One of the only of the industries that didn't really take a big hit per se was the movies.
Yeah.
People still,
Yeah,
when you're
dude.
poor, even when
Totally.
you're poor, you're dirt poor. People still seek out entertainment.
And in that-
Movies
yeah.
did great in the 30s when
Yeah.
all other industries were falling and people were losing.
The top
Hollywood took
grossest
off.
movie of all time, if you account for inflation, is Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind, which came out 1937, 38, 39,
Yeah,
something.
or late
But
30s.
still, Depression era Hollywood boomed, and that's why the 40s and 50s and 60s were the golden age of Hollywood. When you think about backlots in movie studios, you think about the 50s and the 40s, because the 30s, entertainment has always been crucial to society, of all society. You go to around the world, you go to any society that's ever existed, there's always been some form of entertainment of some kind, because people need that escape.
Yeah.
They need that. I'm going to pretend. I'm going to live vicariously through this character, through Bobby or through Tiny Tom or whoever.
So, now that we've kind of discussed that and gotten onto that tangent, let's pull it back and say
round it off.
Now that we have all of this information that we've discussed, so what is it like? What does that mean for you?
Being a theater major for me means that I get to look back at my college experience and think that I enjoyed what I studied for 4 years. Even if I don't do anything with theater or anything with the entertainment world, which that would suck, because I'd love to be a part of it in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get to look back at college and be like, that was great.
And I university level, that's big. I mean, in Colorado, we're the second biggest school as far as like money and size. That's a big deal that you were a lead in a musical at Colorado State University. I mean, that holds weight in the university realm. I mean, that means something.
Yeah.
I mean, are you comparing it to? If you compare like private schools,
right?
No. But I mean, as far as the public school, university level, collegiate level, that's like that's being like a star athlete.
Yeah. In a way.
But I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, though, I think that's great to look back and say, look at this time in my life, how awesome it was. Yeah. Because I mean, we talk all the time about how weird it would be and what it would be like to have a normal college experience, whatever that means.
I mean, whatever quote unquote normal means for you.
Right.
But I agree. I mean, you look back, I would never have met you guys. I would never met, really any of the people. I know, this is so sad. I would, but I mean, the friends you make in college, honestly, are the friends that you end up keeping through your life. They're the people that you think of when you're older and you're like, oh, you don't think about high school or middle school. But it's moments like Urinetown that are going to always hold a place in your heart. Like for me, Urinetown is my favorite show I've ever done. And it honestly probably will be. I'll never do a show and play a role like I did with Lock, Stock, and with you guys. I think as far as what theater has taught me for life, it's taught me how to work with other people.
Totally.
It's taught me how to be creative with other people. Probably arguably the hardest thing to do is create with other people.
This podcast has been a fucking nightmare. No.
It's taught me how to be charismatic. It's taught me how to public speak.
Totally.
Yeah. It's taught me how to think on my own and be self-sufficient as far as, because again, you're in town. Rich didn't move here, stand there, turn this, make this face. He was like, this is the general emotion of the scene. Play that emotion for whatever that means for your character.
Yeah.
So it lets you self-invent under guidance, which I think is helpful. And so whether I end up being a real estate agent or whether I end up being whatever I end up being, a donut maker, whatever the hell, it's...
You're my ability, living it, baby.
I'm living the dream. The ability to talk to people I have now comes from my place of
totally.
Because if you can talk and act and sing in front of people, then talking to someone over a donut counter is nothing.
Oh, dude, I had to call an insurance lady today about a claim on my toe, and I was like, I don't want to make this phone call. I don't like talking with people.
I hate
she goes, hello, this is Sophia. I go, hey, Sophia, it's Jake. How you doing? I was like,
and that comes
oh my gosh!
Because not only have you learned to talk to other people, you learned to talk in front of people, and you've learned to put on a face, a mask. Because you weren't being the true Jake Kademi, you were being phone Jake Kademi, which is a little different.
I think it's a little different, but not inauthentic.
No,
exactly.
Yeah, it's just like when you're at home by yourself in your private life, you're one person.
You're just playing a different role.
And you're a different role. That's smart, man. But even if I don't do theater, whether it's professional, local, whatever, it's giving me life lessons that are invaluable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taught me how to work with so many different types of people from different gender orientations, sexual orientations, backgrounds, histories, places of the country. I mean, I've met people doing theater that I didn't think I'd ever met. Meet. People that just all kind of the broad spectrum that doing a business major. Yeah, and when you do a show, you guys know when you do a show, you create like this family bond.
Sure,
you become,
yeah.
because you see the same people for 4+ hours a day every single day for months on end. You see them more than you see your family.
And potentially you're doing vulnerable work that you're
being
forced,
vulnerable. Yeah. Exactly. You're doing things that you wouldn't do in your quote unquote normal life. So you're opening up. You're learning about people in a way. Whereas if you were in a business class, I would know your name was Bradley and that maybe you liked the video game scene and you were Jake and you liked.
Let's see how much Dan knows about me.
Being
what does Jake like?
Frothing.
Jake, what do you like?
All right, I guess I'm a frother.
Or media, or pop culture, but you know what I mean? I would know very little about you as a character. Like, sure. I know you as a character. I know I know where you guys lie on the spectrum of, like, people.
Uh-huh.
But, like, if we were in, like, a marketing class, you're Bradley and you're Jake, and I know base level.
Right. You're not it's not as you're not forced to get to know the people.
No, and once that class was over,
right,
I wouldn't remember.
Which is that's how I've good and bad.
That's how I've been for like all of my AUCCs. I just go in and get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know people's names maybe.
Yeah.
And then you know base level shit only if it's connected to the project you're working on. But you don't know like what kind of music or movies. And you can infer, but like theater, you get to know people on a really deep personal level.
And I mean,
go for it.
And that's the nice thing is like, when it comes to theater, like you go into it. Like when I was starting my degree, going in freshman year, I wasn't like thinking to myself, man, it's gonna be really hard to make friends. I mean, obviously you're kind of like a little worried about it, sure, but like you kind of expect when you're going into that kind of environment, you're gonna make friends. Yeah. And I did. I made a lot of friends. Yeah. But, like, going into, like, a business major, like, that's hard.
Maybe one or two.
You have to try.
You do. Theater essentially forces you to be friends. Yeah. Because it forces you as scene partners. It forces, like, if we didn't know each other before you're in town, just the matter, all the interaction me and you had as characters would have forced us to be at least acquaintances.
Sure.
At the very least.
Yeah. You know, how weird is it that, like, as we are actively choosing as a profession, constantly being judged on how we look and how we sound. A lot of things that we can't control.
Things that we have
zero control over.
Zero control
Like, that's hard.
How tall we are, the color of our skin, the kind of hair we have. Yeah. And that's what me and Brad have figured out is casting a show, is it has more to do with how you look and your chemistry with a person rather than your talent.
It's like, you ever seen Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman?
Maybe.
Great movie.
No.
Gina Davis got her start there. It's about this guy that Dustin Hoffman. He's short. He's like 5'6".
Oh yeah, he's a little guy.
And he's not getting cast for any roles just because he doesn't look.
Gina Davis
doesn't look the part. Yes, she is. And so he dresses up as a woman and gets cast in this sitcom, I think, or so he gets cast in this role as Miss Tootsie, this woman. And so it was this whole thing about like, you didn't like me when I looked like this, and now I look like this, and you cast me. And there's one part when it's at the very beginning of the movie, and he's in this casting room, and he goes in, and they basically made the decision right there, like, nah, thank you. He goes, what do you need me to be taller? I can be taller. Look, I'm wearing lifts. You need me to be shorter? And takes the lifts off. Like, what do you need? And they're like, we just need you to be different. And like,
I mean, and that's almost like, that's when I came to the realization that I don't know if acting is what because when me and Brad auditioned, all these people who are dear friends of ours and very, very, very talented people, but when you just watch them in auditions and how they play with other actors and how they chemistry and how they visually just what you picture as a character, it really honestly has very little to do with such quote unquote raw talent as do they fit the part and do they meet the chemistry of the other actors who also fit the part the best. And it makes it really hard.
So basically what I'm hearing from you is that we're fucking idiots for doing it.
So we're stupid and we're wasting our time is what we're saying.
No, it's all good time.
No, I think ultimately theater may not be the direct thing that any of us ultimately do, but it's taught us invaluable things that I don't think any other degree quite could to the extent that we've, I mean, just think about the teamwork we've had to learn and the charisma and
there's
the
so
public
many
speaking.
skills. Yeah.
I mean, myself, I came from a place where I wouldn't talk to anyone because I was so afraid to stutter.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point now where my stutter is just a tiny bleep on the radar even. It's not even hardly, because of theater. It forces me to speak in front of people. So.
Yeah. Final thoughts?
Nothing from Brad. Thanks, guys, for watching. Be sure to tune in next time. Please share with your friends if you enjoyed this.
Message us. somehow. I don't know. Talk to people. Figure out.
Leave a review.
Leave a review. We will do more. We can talk about more crazy things because we're funny.
Yeah. And if you didn't like it,
then if you didn't like us, you can kiss our ass. Don't listen to it. Unsubscribe, you dick.
You want to see my toe?
I do want to see Jake's toe.
I think it'd be great
Jake
to get
had
your
his
reaction.
toe ripped off in L.A.
A toenail. Still have a toe.
Well, that's debatable. We haven't seen it unwrapped yet.
Look at that.
Oh, wow. This looks like I smashed my thumb in kindergarten. It looked a lot like that.
Right? It looks good. It's healing.
You touch it? Is it weird?
It probably feels a little weird right now.
Is the toenail growing back at all?
Not yet.
How long is it going to take to regrow fully?
Like 6 months.
It takes 6 months to grow a full toenail?
Yeah, dude.
How long ago did this happen?
Last Saturday.
So less than a week.
Yeah, which I think that looks pretty good for a week.
Honestly, Jake, if you didn't tell me, I'd probably just think you had a really